What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to do a 100% race around the Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park. So it's 58 laps, just like the real life length of a Grand Prix, and we're going to see if we can complete it. We are blessed to have Shane Van Gisbergen joining us in this lobby, V8 Supercar champion. For those of you outside of the Oceanic region, he is a very, very famous person in our part of the world. That is 100% him, I can promise you that. But anyway, I put one-shot qualifying on. I didn't want to start anywhere near the front. I actually wanted to work my way through the field and have a bit of fun in this race, and so we'll see how it goes. It always is a bit of a risk when I commit to doing a 100% race, because it could easily turn into one big, hot, steaming pile of crap if I crash out after the first lap. But hopefully we don't.
There are a lot of cars on track today. Hard braking into the first corner, hard on the brakes.
So here we are then, Australian Grand Prix, starting from 12th place on the grid, which is quite high actually, considering I crashed out in qualifying. It looks like a lot of other people either crashed out themselves or invalidated their laps. So we're starting right in the thick of things here. And we get ready for 5 red lights, and away we go for the Australian Grand Prix. Let's see if we can firstly get to the end. Shane Van Gisbergen gets off to an absolute flyer. He gains a couple of positions, and he's on my right-hand side through turn 1. I have lost my wing on a Mercedes. A Ferrari has gone quite wide at turn 1 as well, and we have a virtual safety car already. So it wasn't long before the stewards had to intervene in this race. We can see McLaren gets left for dead at the exit of turn 2. Hopefully they're still in the race. I believe they are. But we'll just have to get confirmation on that. Here's the replay of the start from the highlight theatre mode, which is a feature of this game. Hopefully they can improve it for the next game. I'm hoping for better replay cameras so we can look at a full online race replay and just like get all the angles. But at this stage we still don't have that. But hopefully that'll be a thing of the past. But yeah, honestly, it didn't take long for the safety car in a way to come out. We can see people crashing under the VSC, which I have never seen before. Come on, guys, sort it out. VSC comes out and all of a sudden people don't know what to do. Now we're getting... Oh, what's going on? We're 5 seconds over our delta and we're having to let people go through because they spin out, etc. It's just a nightmare. But away we go. For a green flag running once again, this chunky guy just can't keep it on the circuit. There's been a patch recently by Codemasters. They have increased the rate of safety cars coming out, and so I would be willing to say that we probably see 1, 2, maybe even 3 safety cars in this race. We're certainly going to need them, especially if we get caught up in other people's incidents. But yeah, because we lost our front wing at turn 1, we're going to come in, we're going to change to...
Take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage.
We sped into the pit lane by 1 kilometer an hour. That's frustrating. But anyway, safety car is being deployed. The safety car is out. We're changing our front wing. And, well, this is actually going to save our race a little bit here. So, what's going to happen here is we're all going to bunch up behind everyone. But I have a 5-second stop-go penalty to serve. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come in again at the end of this lap. And I'm going to put a set of soft compound tyres on. So, in a way, the race for me is going to be completely reset. It's like the first lap is essentially not even going to happen for me. But here we go, serving the 5-second stop-go. Thankfully, we can serve it under safety car in this game. You can't serve drive-thrus under safety car. So we got quite lucky in that respect. But out we go onto the circuit once more. And we are going to rejoin in last place. But the crucial thing here is, guys, is that I've used the medium tyres already. I started on them. I switched to another set of mediums as well. But that kind of rules out the 2 compound tyre rule for us now. And I don't know, the game just changes when it's a 100% race. Because tyre wear is a lot more strung out. You can stretch out your stints a whole lot more. And being on a softer compound is that much more important because you're doing double the laps on a softer compound. You've got more time to make up that time. and you're getting less tire wear. I hope that makes sense. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this race is be on the best tire till the end, whereas a lot of people in front of me at some stage or another will have to use the mediums, and so we could be on a charge for a good result here today. But away we go. The green flag running once again. We get past the Haas. We're now going to fly past the McLaren in a straight line. And can we get the Toro Rosso into turn 3? You bet we can. Thanks for that. Ruined my holiday to Australia, why don't you? Down to P15 again. What the hell was that? So here's the replay again. Benjamin Daly with the Sky Sports quality of production here with his replays. So we got the 2 overtakes done here. We then lunge up the inside of the Toro Rosso. I thought I went in deep here, but obviously someone went in a lot deeper than what I did. I think it was the Haas that was behind me, that chunky guy. He just loves causing incidents, it seems. So here's the good angle. Yeah, you can see that the Haas barely even brakes. And we did well to actually keep it out of the barrier there. But we rejoin once more in this race, and we have to dig ourselves out of this horrendous track position. You can see the fastest lap was set there by Michael. He is actually an esports driver, a Williams esports driver. So it'll be quite difficult to beat him in this race. He's actually going off to the Pro Drafts in April. So if we can even get anywhere near his pace, then I'd be absolutely ecstatic with that. I've been playing a lot of iRacing lately. You haven't seen any of the videos yet, but they are coming, believe me. I've been practicing for the Sebring 12 hour, as well as we go for a half-hearted lunge up the inside of the Toro Rosso. Didn't quite work out there. Now we've got our teammate having a go at us here, Interior Crocodile. We decided to back out of that because that was not going to end well. We've still got a lot of, like another 50 laps to go. There's no need to put ourselves into a desperate lunge as we get kind of sideswiped by the Toro Rosso, who was avoiding my teammate who had just spun out. And now we go up the inside of the Toro Rosso. Can we finally get this move done? Yes, we can. My goodness. This race is starting to kick off now. But anyway, lap 6. Still 52 laps to go, and another safety car has been deployed.
We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty.
Come on, guys. Get it together. I swear there isn't this many crashes in a 5-lap sprint race, but all of a sudden you make it a 100% race and everyone forgets how to drive all of a sudden. I don't understand. But going back to my earlier point, I will be doing the Sebring 12 hour. It's going to be on the Saturday of next week, so keep an eye out on that. It starts at 1 p.m. UK time, and I will be live streaming the whole thing. I'll be doing it with Veloce Esports. I'll have Cal HD on my team, and I'll also have Veloce Hypers. Some of you guys might know him from the league racing and esports community, so hopefully we'll be gunning for the win. But during the course of this safety car here, I'm just having a look at the race director, just seeing what the penalty count is looking like for a lot of our competitors. And to be honest, there's not as many incidents on the radar as what I was expecting there to be. I was expecting like a lot of penalties for corner cutting and just dangerous driving, that kind of thing. There was a lot of crashes and stuff early on, but not too bad considering it's very early stages. But let's see if we can finally get into a rhythm in this race. We barely had more than a few laps of green flag running, so let's see if we can all get our heads down and make some progress in this race. There's actually set to be some rain, approximately 5-10 minutes away. I forgot to notify you guys when that message first got relayed to me, but the rain is coming, so that's something we have to prepare for, and hopefully we can get some good track position before the weather strikes, because I don't know how all these other people in the lobby are going to react to the conditions suddenly changing. So having that extra track position is just going to make things a little bit easier for us. Like, we don't want to get caught up in other people spinning out because of a lack of grip. But we go up the inside of a Red Bull. That is us now up in 8th place. And Mercedes not negotiating the high-speed S's all too well. And now we can see the Red Bull having a nice little run at us into the 3rd sector. And now we're having to go defensive. But the Mercedes shoots off the track, and that gives us P7. Someone else has spun off behind us as well. And there is another yellow flag thankfully, at least for the time being, there is no safety car. So hopefully the stewards can now go to bed and forget about sending out Burnt Maylander again for this race. I don't know, maybe you can send him out when I'm in trouble later on, if that does in fact become the case. But anyway, let's see if we can make some progress. We need to catch up to Shane Van Gisbergen and Michael, the F1 esports driver. But before we get to those guys, we've got to negotiate just a couple more slower cars. We've got a McLaren on hard compound tyres. That is a big ripperoni as we squeeze ourselves onto the grass in an effort to get past. That's P5. I would never recommend the hard compound tyre in in any scenario really, unless it's an emergency situation to get you to the end of the race on one stop. But especially in a 100% race scenario, that hard compound tyre can probably drive all day, but it's not going to have an amazing grip, especially with the amount of fuel on board in this car. So fuel as well is also a big factor in the pace. I've gone with the standard amount of fuel. I feel like some people might have underfueled their car for, weight saving purposes. They may need to save a little bit over the course of the race, but with the amount of safety cars we've had, maybe fuel saving isn't as important of an issue as what it might have been had there not been those safety cars. But anyway, we're closing in on the top three. You can see Ranky going at the inside of a racing point. The rain is now starting to strike here on the circuit, and we could potentially see ourselves in some good track position here if we can get up the inside into turn 3. It's for position 3. It looks like we're through for P3, and it's only taken us 14 laps to do so. I say that as if it was a very quick affair, but I can tell you it didn't feel like it. It felt like a long time trying to claw our way back through this race. If this is a 50% race, that would have been over half of it. So for context, there you go. I think a 50% race is 29 laps. So not even anywhere near completing a 50. We've got an extraordinary amount of time to go in this one, and now the weather is here. So we're going to dive onto the intermediate tyres at the end of this lap. Looks like Shane Van Gisbergen and our F1 esports protege is in the pit lane as well. No speeding into the pit lane. Thank you very much. DRS gets disabled at the perfect time for all of us. And hopefully we can ride out this wave of weather on this one set of intermediate tyres. The tyre wear should be good enough, hopefully, to get us through this period. But we've got a front wing change, and I actually didn't notice this at the time. I actually thought this was a glitch because I did set my front wing to yes earlier on in the Grand Prix. But I actually did have a lime green left front end plate at one point in the race, or in this previous stint. I actually got it when that Toro Rosso sideswiped me from the helicopter shot. That's when I actually got the damage, and I had no idea. I was actually going to make a joke about Williams being incompetent, but they're actually on the ball for changing my front wing. So there you go. We now finally have a 100% fully restored car, and now we can see what the pace is going to be like. But we have given up a couple of positions there with the front wing change. We're going to have to get our way back into P3. It's a bit of a reset now that the rain is here. I could be absolutely atrocious on the intermediate tyre. We'll just have to wait and see. Rain does level things out most of the time. But we're trying to put a move here on the racing point. We try to go around the outside at turn 3. I was a little bit hesitant to try and sweep all the way around the outside. I was worried about him running out wide. And that kind of was the case. But we will climb our way past him one way or another. I think we just got to wait for a mistake. You can see there, missed apex there in the middle sector. We have the inside here, but no, that was a closing gap, so we decided to back out of that one. It's a long race. We've still got 41 laps to go. There's no need to try and force an overtake when it's not quite on. But we get a nice exit here into the fast S's. We're going to put it up and overtake to see if we can get the overlap. We'll have the inside. Can this be P4? Yes, it is. There we go. We're through. And hopefully now we can set our sights after Ranky in the Renault. Good 5 seconds up the road. So we're going to have to put some work in if you want to close up to him And it looks like the rain has actually helped him from hindsight, because it took me a long time to make some progress. You can see a big loss of traction there. Not even traction, just oversteer at the fast right hander. The VSC has been deployed. Someone around the circuit has gone off, and now we're going to be neutralized. But I made a catastrophic error here in not slowing down for the Delta. I'll be honest, my mind was somewhere else when this VSC came out. I was actually in a call with DRC Jared and Shane Van Gisbergen at the time, and so we were just kind of chatting, and yep, just got caught up, and now we have a drive through to serve. So again, our race is going to take a little bit of a hit here, and in we go. Can't believe that. Like, this never happens to me. I never get caught out by speeding under a safety car or VSC, but in the heat of the moment, just weren't concentrating, and now we're gonna have to overtake these guys again. I want to get to the front. I want to race the top 3 guys. I want to race against New Zealand. No, sorry, not him. I was talking about Shane Van Gisbergen. I want to race Shane Van Gisbergen and the F1 esports driver. Can I please have a clear run or a safety car to bail me out of this race? Let's see. We're not even halfway through at this point. We're getting to that point now. A couple laps away from that stage. We overtake our teammate a couple laps ago and made a mistake in the 3rd sector. The rain is actually hanging around for quite a while here. So much so to the point where we probably will need to think about maybe another switch to intermediate tyres. But hopefully it doesn't come to that, and we can switch to the dries very shortly for a sprint to the end on a set of softs. But we're closing up to the racing point again in this race. Let's see if we can get the move done. Unfortunately, no DRS in these conditions. It's only available to you in the dry, so it makes overtaking that much more difficult, especially that everyone is on a fixed setup. So it's the middle setup, straight down the middle, 6.6 wings, you know, suspension, alignment, everything in the middle, and so it's a very much an even playing field. So it makes these overtakes very, very hard to make. We got the inside of turn 3 a little bit forceful there. I didn't want to make any contact, but that's kind of what happened. Forceful, but we're through, and now we will hopefully set our sights after the top 4. 30 laps in, still 25 to go. And just a bit of an update as to where we're standing in this race. Because of our drive-through, we've lost a lot of ground. We've actually been a little bit slow relative to the top 2 guys over the course of the intermediate period, and just those around me as well. Ranky was quite a bit faster than me towards the end of the intermediate stint. But in the dry, I felt like I definitely did have the pace over Ranky, and now that we're on the dries once again, I'm backing myself to hopefully make up some of those positions. But, you know, we've been through a bit of a roller coaster today. We've had the drive-throughs, we've had the crashes, we've had the escapes through the gravel traps. All of that has meant that we're nearly a lap down. We actually go purple to the 3rd sector, but actually right behind me, as we have well, my game actually minimized approaching turn 1. That was absolutely frightening. Thankfully, the game paused, and the AI took over through turn 1, so I was able to get away with that. But what I want to make mention of is that we're nearly a lap down. Michael Romanidis in the Haas is the race leader. He's the F1 esports guy, and he's literally 3 seconds behind us. We are getting blue flags. Actually, we're approaching back markers ourselves. This guy who isn't in the race anymore. But we're nearly at the point where we're going to get blue flags ourselves for the race leader. And so now, I really need to pull my finger out and get on with it. We are going purple to the 1st sector. Maybe I just haven't been driving as aggressive as what I normally would, because it's a longer race. I've been a bit more calm with pushing the boundaries a little bit. I've only got 1 or 2 penalties. I've actually got 1 penalty on this lap. So that was, I don't know, I guess ironic. But now we are pushing the limits. You can see I really took some curb there at the fast left-right chicane. Purple to the middle sector as well. I don't know why, but I was just driving maybe a little bit under my threshold. Maybe just to reduce penalties, just to drive consistently. In the back of my mind, I always knew it was a long race, but there's only 20 laps to go now, so we really should get on with it, should we? So let's see what we can do. We actually do go purple, 123.2. There's nothing like a bit of motivation to get you to drive faster. Michael has actually matched our time, but on the medium tyre. But he had DRS on that back straight, so I mean, regardless, Michael is bloody outrageous to be running at this pace on a harder compounded tyre. But in my defense as well, I haven't been playing the game as much. So, what are you trying to say there, Ben? I don't know. What I am trying to say is nothing really matters. It's an exhibition race. We got a 5-second time penalty for ignoring blue flags. I don't know if you noticed, you can rewind the video to the last 20 seconds. I was not getting any blue flag notifications on my screen. The OSD wasn't working. Yes, the blue flag marshalling lights all around the circuit were flashing, but I wasn't getting the official blue flag warning, so that's why I didn't let him through. And so that penalty kind of came at a surprise. But anyway, we're fighting with the Mercedes here, which is full position, but we're also fighting with Michael, who is a lap ahead of us and ghosted. So that was very, very off-putting. I was like, okay, I've overtaken one car, but is it the Mercedes? Oh, yeah, no, it's Michael. Okay, I can go through him. Very, very weird. I've not had a scenario like that. But we move. We're in P4, and now we're going to clutch onto the back of Michael like a baby koala in a tree on a gusty Australian day here in Melbourne. And hopefully he can drag me towards him. I'm just getting free DRS here. I am saving a little more fuel, a little more battery than what I would normally, but also running at the same pace, so that is good. Virtual safety car has now been deployed, and I'm just going to calm things down a little bit now. A little bit of respite. 15 laps to go. Michael pulls into the pit lane, and I nearly did as well. The reason why I didn't stop is just in case there is a safety car from here to the flag, from here to the end. If there is another safety car, we are now back on the lead lap, and we can get ourselves back in this race to maybe even win the thing. Michael is on medium, or he was on mediums. He's now boxed for soft compound tyres. So if there is going to be a safety car, it needs to be now.
Okay, the safety car is out. The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace.
What? Oh my goodness. I edited this video, yes, so I knew there was a safety car coming, but I guarantee you I did not know it was going to happen right as I said that. Safety car deployed, 12 laps to go in the Australian Grand Prix, and we are back in the game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be back on the lead lap. Everyone is going to get slowed up, and we are going to join the back of the queue. And you know what? Not only are we going to do that, but we are going to pit for another set of soft compound tyres. You might have remembered earlier on in the race, we ran on the softs for like one lap. So for 1 or 2 laps tops. So that set of tyres should be very fresh, and we will finish the race on that set of tyres. So in we go. We managed to clear the safety car. We have built out a little bit of a gap to Michael behind. Oh. 5 seconds stop go. We should be okay still. I think the gap is 25 seconds maybe to Michael behind. So we should rejoin on the lead lap. And with the patch that's come out for the safety car, it means that the safety car will actually wait for us, I think, to catch up to the back of the queue. Because previously, the safety car would only stay up for maybe 2 or 3 laps at maximum. But I think now it will actually wait for everyone to rejoin the back of the queue. Within reason, I guess. But at this point, I still didn't know if I was going to be able to cling onto the back of everyone and race on the lead lap. I'm actually the last car on the lead lap, by the way. Venez behind, unfortunately, was behind Michael, and so he is a lap down. And so I think officially I can't really lose any more positions than what I've got. So we will be maximum attack to the end of this race to see if we can win. Because I've got fresh tyres, a few laps younger than Michael, Shane Van Gisbergen is on the softs as well. However, they're a little bit older, so we might have a bit of a pace advantage over the Supercars champion. But away we go for the sprint race to the end of the Australian Grand Prix. There is 8 laps left to go in this one. We negotiate a few lap cars to get out of the way. All lap cars are ghosted, by the way. That is a new thing that's been introduced for this game, which definitely helps in longer races like this. But we have Ranky just up the road. Let's see if we can negotiate past him as quickly as possible. You might notice that Michael and Shane Van Gisbergen are etching away a little bit already, such is I guess the amount of cars in the train that were ahead of us. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get up to their pace straight away. I had a few people to get past, but we're going to do our darn best job to march our way through the field. But I'm hearing in my ear, or at least I heard in my ear at the time, that Shane actually did what I did earlier on in the race. He actually ignored the delta at one point, and he's got a drive-through penalty to serve in the next lap or two. So we might get promoted up into P2 here if we can get Ranky around the outside into the third sector. Oh, there was just enough space, but we couldn't execute that cleanly, and it is only P4 for now. Ranky runs in deep once again. This is for effective P2 in the Australian Grand Prix. Shane Van Gisbergen is in the pit lane, and now, regardless of what happens, 5 laps to go. We are on the podium. Can we go up the inside into turn 1? There's a bit of a gap, but it closes, and no, we've thrown it all away, chaps. I got too eager, too desperate. I can't believe I've done that. But surprisingly, Ranky has actually waited up for us and given the position back. I don't really understand the logic in that, because this was mainly on me. I kind of just kept my nose in there. Maybe I could have moved over to the right-hand side a little bit earlier to cut the corner a little bit more and give him more space, or I could have just dove it in there a bit deeper and have that track presence, I guess. But he let me through, and I don't really feel like that was fair, so I've let him back through again. So all of this shenanigans has meant that we've lost so much time to Shane that he's now behind us, 2 seconds away, in fact. And with 4 laps to go, there's going to be a 3-way showdown for P2 in this Australian Grand Prix. Now, I don't know about Michael in the lead, but I'm hoping that he's got about 20 or 30 seconds worth of penalties. I would hope so. I hope that he's been corner cutting to get that pace. So I guess we'll just have to wait and find out at the end of the race. We're in the slipstream of Ranky, and we go around the outside of turn 3. That's probably the cleanest move of the race so far. Confidence is high at this stage. The track grip is up, and we pulled that off quite well. We're compromised through the right-hander, and Ranky gets the switch back. Back into P2. Oh my goodness. Here we go. We have a nice run. Are we going to go inside, or are we going to go outside? We're going to pick the inside, but not really outbrake him there. So it's been a frustrating couple of laps, but also a fun couple of laps at that as well. Fighting over P2. Shane is about to join the party, and you'd have to say that he'd be wasting absolutely no time in dispatching past both of us. I'd probably say he's burning a bit of fuel and ERS just to catch up to this train. But we'll have to wait and see what his situation is in just a few laps. I don't know what the penalty factor is for anyone at this point. We're just going to race it out, and then we'll compare straws after the race has been run and done. We get a nice run out of the final corner to open the DRS into overtake mode. We are negative on fuel, but now we have the track position. 3 laps to go. The race is in our control, essentially, but Shane has got through for P3 as well. Now he's making a move on us too. We have to go defensive into turn number 7, and we do manage to hold on into turns 10 and 11 now. Still holding on just about. Fuel is a factor. Battery is non-existent at this point. I've got to save fuel. I've got to save battery. Shane goes around the outside into the third sector, so a marvelous move there, pulled off by him. And who knows, maybe this is a blessing in disguise, because at this point I just don't have the pace to contain Shane Van Gisbergen. I can't believe I'm saying I'm racing with Shane Van Gisbergen. That's, life is a funny thing. Here we go. In the slipstream, DRS. Ben, if you're smart, you're going to start saving a bit more of that fuel. You're going to start saving a bit more of that ERS. But look at me. I'm in rich. I'm in high. What the hell am I doing? Am I going to go for a dive into turn 3? No. Gonna have to bide our time. Ben, you've really got to save fuel here. I know you guys are screaming at me too. So please, let's just get a bit of common sense. Let's regroup and attack on the next lap. We're going to stay on board for the rest of this race now, and we're going to see how this battle unfolds. See if we can find any chinks in the Shane Van Gisbergen armor. Is there any corner that he's weak at? Probably not. So I'm just going to have to use the OP slipstream to my advantage. We are saving a little bit. We've got nearly 0.1 of a lap in reserve. Battery, though, is very concerning. 8%. Ideally, we need about 20 or 30% to really attack on the final lap. Fuel is getting there, but it's not quite where we want it to be just yet. Yellow flag up ahead. There's a Ferrari going slowly. And he's out, I think. He's not really moving. It's a bit confusing. But anyway, heading on to the final lap of the Australian Grand Prix. It is now or never, Ben. We're going up in a high, both the deployment and in the fuel mixture. Heading into turn 1. Really late under brakes. We've managed to make up a bit of time there. And now we're going to have a nice little run at Shane Van Gisbergen. The music is absolutely drowning me out. To the inside at turn 3. And we've got P2, do we? Not quite. Shane's got the switchback. He's going to go around the outside into the middle sector. Going through the fast right-hander. It's side by side. P3. We have stolen P3 in the Australian Grand Prix. Yes, I was not lying to you. Shane Van Gisbergen has traversed 57 and a half laps of the Albert Park circuit, but he has perished. In the first sector, I don't really know what to say. We were just running side by side, and I guess the lag from him being on the other side of the world kind of contributed to our crash. So side by side, we kind of only just touched. Like my right front end plate just nipped, was rubbing alongside his left rear tire, and the contact system was enough to send us both into the barriers. My my in-game character was very happy with that. But in the end, yes, we lost P2. We limped it home to get P3, and with pretty much no rear wing, we tried to wipe out the rest of our car across the line. But this Williams was built like an absolute tank. It could withstand anything. It could withstand a bomb being dropped on it, I think, at this point. But that has been 58 laps of Albert Park in Melbourne. If the real-life Grand Prix is even half as good as this one, then we are set for an absolute cracker. Hopefully this is the race where, I don't know, we're going to have a good one at Melbourne and it can restore its reputation as a good race to open the season. I really do enjoy the F1 circus going to Australia to start off the season. We have had a few boring races a little bit on track in terms of the actual racing. But we'll wait and see how it all pans out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And Shane, get good.